Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Here are the day's spoilers for Friday, September 29, 2023. Discover your favorite Salamites causing trouble. You won't want to miss this episode, I promise. Vivian receiving her walking papers signals a change in the status quo at the Kyriakis residence. You're leaving Viv? She's not going to like that very much, of course. Maggie isn't the one she pulls a pistol on, though. Vivian, however, makes a beeline for the DiMera estate and threatens to shoot Dimitri. Her timing is impeccable. Dimitri is trying to shoot her son Stefan and his wife Gabby while she is shooting Dimitri. The family is enraged, including Kristen, who also gets a weapon because it's not a good look. The bride of Dimitri is currently tossing a pie in the face of her best friend at the inn. The least Leo deserves is this. He is a cunning cheater who is attempting to take her man. By the time their argument is over, chaos will reign at the DiMera home. Will Leo regret mixing with people like Dimitri? The event in the living room is only the beginning of his preparations to eliminate Gabby and Stefan. He also brings it into their bedroom. Does he really shoot them? Or is this merely a fantasy of retaliation? Marlena and Kate dine together in the bar. A lot needs to be discussed between the two because of recent events. Salem's drama appears to go on forever. Alex calls Sunny at the same moment to check on him. Alex is reeling from the realization that they are not brothers, and his entire world is turned upside down. How will Sunny respond to the altered situation? Days of Our Lives can be shown on the W Network or Global TV app in Canada and Peacock, plus in the United States during the week. Check out the most recent day's spoilers for more information about what will happen in Salem. And go here for a detailed look at the show's history. Join the discussion on our Facebook page, peruse our Twitter feed, or keep an eye out for an update on our Instagram stories to learn more about what's happening on your favorite soap operas. I'll see you there. Harris and Ava's investigation led them to a character who was acting, well, completely out of character, according to the Days of Our Lives recap for September 28, 2023. Each refused to accept the sign he requested. Paulina and Lai exacted revenge on Melinda, who was feeling vindictive, and Eric moved into Sloane's studio apartment. Let's now delve a little more deeply into what transpired. Despite herself, Ava eventually came to Harris' conclusion that they had nothing to lose by visiting Edmund P. Crumb's residence and asking him about Susan. Even though he had been coerced out of bed at an absurd hour, Edmund was friendly enough to go make them some tea. What a good Englishman! The only aspect about him that both Ava and Harris disliked was the way he frequently used the word deranged to describe the person who had originally driven Susan over the edge of the cliff. Ava and Harris told Edmund with straight faces that they now think Susan is still alive and sending them psychic messages, which have brought them to his door. In the rear bedroom, Edmund shows that he has Susan bound to the floor after much huffing and puffing. Additionally, he tainted Ava and Harris's tea. Our brave two are quickly knocked unconscious and thrown onto the cot that was Susan's bed. The bound and imprisoned Elvis fan exclaimed, "My stars and garters," before asking Edmund what precisely he thought he was doing. Back in Salem, E.J. complained to Nicole about Wendy's termination because she dared to attempt to substantiate his use of a hit woman to kill Ava. What a girl's temerity! Nicole nodded in agreement. She should be damned for discovering exactly what E.G. did. Then E.J. repeated Wendy's statement that Ava had asserted Susan was still alive. Nicole suggested that perhaps E.J. should consider what Ava said after apparently remembering that they resided in Salem, but he declined. That she would remember just as he was attempting to have her assassinated was too coincidence, a surefire way to put off a decision. Furthermore, his mother would give him a sign if she were still alive. And no, it wasn't the subsequent power outage. Susan would have signaled with a large sign. It was much too subdued. Paulina, who wanted to fire Melinda from her work, put her in a lot of hot water in the meantime. After all, the job of district attorney is not one that is elected. The Queen is not amused that you serve at her pleasure. Melinda threw her a Hail Mary or insisted that she could make an arrest that would garner attention. How prominent is it? Consider Lee freakin' Shin. Unfortunately for Melinda, Ly had listened in on her and Paulina's talk using the microphone he had concealed in the stuffed animal he'd have given her the previous time they had played around on top of her desk at work. Their affair was finished as a result, and Melinda's chances of keeping her work were also over. Sloane unexpectedly discovered Eric moving in when she opened her door and saw a suitcase with him inside. She had originally proposed the concept, so she wasn't really offended by it. Rather, she was upset that he hadn't informed her in advance and that their previous conversation had been so long ago. But now that he and his belongings were there, it's all ok. The talk shifted to their adoption plans after briefly discussing a prospective wedding location. Note that it will not be hosted at the Brady Pub, where Eric and Nicole's wedding was placed. Even though Sloane was upset to learn that Belle was unable to represent them owing to continuous interpersonal strife, she later came up with the ideal replacement, down and out Melinda. Since Harris from Days of Our Lives first met Ava in Bayview, there have been many turns and surprises. The biggest surprise wasn't really that Susan wasn't actually killed in the vehicle accident Ava caused. Rather, it was that she was beaming psychic signals to Ava from London. However, the whole England storyline may have given longtime fans a hint that Edmund P. Crumb was somehow connected to Susan's whereabouts. And Days of Our Lives did in fact confirm this with the psychic Crumb message Ava received on the episode that aired on September 27. Simply accept it, don't question it. But if you're perplexed about Edmund's identity or the reason Days showed us a wedding notice between him and Susan, who was at the time portrayed by Eileen Davidson, don't worry. In a nutshell, Adam Kane's character Edmund is Susan's husband, or was the husband of Susan. When Susan was escaping from the Demera clutches with tiny baby Elvis Jr., Marlena and John introduced them for the first time over in England. The two fell in love right away, but when word of their relationship reached Kristen, she abducted Susan and sold her into a harem while Edmund was away in London purchasing an engagement ring. Penelope, Susan's identical sibling, was mistakenly declared dead, and Kristen assumed Susan's identity and wed Edmund as a result. But eventually, the real Susan got her freedom, got her love back, and got married to him for good. She then went back to England and lived happily ever after. The couple's final on-screen appearance occurred in 1998, and Susan didn't return until after EJ died in 2014. Susan went into a tailspin after the death of her beloved Elvis Jr. She then asked Dr. Rolfe to resurrect Will in order to exact revenge on Sami, which cost her the marriage to Edmund. Back in 2017, while she was living in Memphis with Elvis impersonator Roger and Will, who believed he was her son, EJ, that was the last time we really heard of him. We can somewhat comprehend Edmund's disinterest in the entire setup. But now that he's returned, it appears as though Ava and Harris will soon cross paths with him, which could ultimately shed light on Susan's situation. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.